Hey viewers, and welcome back to another episode of Kyle's Past Reviews, which is also the series where you people request on what I should review. The options for this poll include Coraline, How to Train Your Dragon, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the Angry Birds movie, and the Lorax. You people chose Coraline. The best way I can describe Coraline is that it's basically the Lion King of stop motion, where it's one of those types of films that you wouldn't expect to get so much praise and attention nowadays and become a pop culture icon. Which is also the case with Coraline, where it's up to the same standards as The Nightmare Before Christmas, Wallace and Gromit, and even Gumby. And I'll even say now that it is the film that did start off the big studio for stop motion for Paranorman, the Box Trolls, Kubo and the Two Strings, and the Missing Link. And I would say now that Leica is probably one of them few stop motion studios that has a big rivalry with Aardman, at least on how I think about it. But since I'm talking about Coraline, will I be like the people and praising the film and how much it got since back then? Starting off with the story, the plot of the film is kind of basic, where the Jones family move into a place of a new home, and the main character, Coraline, wasn't really interested as you would probably expect. But until then, she recognized there was an alternate world like this. But instead, it's a lot like an Alice in Wonderland type of style, where everything's a lot more imaginative and makes you feel welcomed. In terms of plot, it's not really interesting due to the way it's predictable. And I'm just gonna say this right now, it is the same plot used again and again and again in family films, where the lead character isn't very it feels a bit uncomfortable in their new environment, but then recognizing another world that makes them feel welcome and actually start to have grown fond of it. But it may not sound interesting at first, but that's just only the first part of the film. Because as the film continues, we get to see a lot more suspicious stuff about the other world, where it's a lot more darker, and it's when it goes from a place that makes you feel welcomed to a place that wants to kidnap you and keep you forever. And that's because it was revealed that the other mother is the one controlling it and wants to keep Coraline button-eyed so that way she can be hers forever. In terms of story, this is where things start to get interesting. It gets a fresh new take on how the other world isn't really as the main character thought it would be, where it goes from a place that may be imaginative to a place that's living hell. And even with the other side, the film does make it feel engaging with mostly the action scenes and the emotions. Which I can tell you right now, the relationship between the Coraline and the Jones family is the heart of the film to actually make Coraline knows on what is best for her. And as for you people who are curious about the tone of this film. And I will say that it's probably one of the creepiest animated films I have ever seen compared to like other creepy films such as Nine, Watership Down, and Feather Day. And it does. And sure, the finale does make you feel predictable with like a scavenger hunt looking for like the free materials in order to get out there. But it is worth it for the finale between Coraline and the other mother that would make the film off in a quite satisfying way. It may seem not interesting at first, but as the film continues, it does give us a new fresh take on what the other world is all about. With an engaging story and quite an intimidating one, you need to have good characters to work out the film itself, right? Well, yes, and luckily, the characters do work in this film. Starting off with the title character herself, Coraline may start off as a bratty kid that isn't really into her own environment and is more comfortable being in the alternate world in order to get from the environment herself. But as the film continues, as the secrets of the other world get revealed, she slowly starts to learn on what's the best for her. Well, even if she already has learned it, she obviously knows that even if the Jones family can treat her not really too great, they are still a family, and even if they can get on the bad sides, they can still forgive each other and actually make the film feel engaging. And as for the other character that doesn't have another version, we have also the cat that that is also quite fond about the other world and how about its secrets, and how the main antagonist isn't really too fond of the cat herself. As for the others, we also got Whitey, who is not from the books and is actually an original character, who may seem like the awkward type of kid that might freak out Caroline at first. He does grow a little bit bond on with Caroline in order to make her feel uncomfortable into the environment, which can make the friendship between the two feel a bit engaging at times. And as for the people that Caroline does meet in the environment, besides YB and the cat, there's April and Miriam, the retired actresses, and even Mr. Bobinski, who is the big, the tall, and lanky man. And then for the other world, we do actually get to see them actually do perform in like their original selves, where April and Miriam are still the actresses, and how Mr. Bobinski is a performance for the circus. But then there's the other mother. And also, you see her in her base form, where she's basically just like Caroline's mother, but instead with butt ice. Well, this is her now, and it really does show on how she goes from a caring and likable mother to a threat and intimidating villain, where she wants to keep Caroline so buttons to her eyes and actually makes her a part of the world and stay there forever. If I have to put a criticism in the film, is that the Jones family can give the film a bit of a rough start, and how the way they act and treat each other can make the film a bit uncomfortable at times. And sure, it does kind of work to get into like the other world itself to make you feel a lot more interested and comfortable in the environment. If you don't look too closely into the button size, if that would creep you out a little bit, but still, it kind of gives the film a bit of an off-putting look to it at first. But still, the characters still have the marks and still have the rights to make the film feel engaging and somehow creepy. Since this is Laika's first anime film, you would expect the film itself to look a bit dated, and we feel like it will start to upgrade over the years, a bit similar to other studios that first started the films like Pixar's Toy Story and DreamWorks' Ants. However, this is not the case with Laika. Since this is like a stop-motion film, it does make up for an actual interesting type of use of animation, and probably still age well, especially for a 2009 film. Even if other anime films have animation that still looks good nowadays. Starting off with the designs, they may seem a bit off and kind of weird, but I can forgive that because they look very abstract, and I do have an interesting like emotions towards those designs, and I kind of both like it and kind of strange, but mostly like it, of course. And with the character animation, it is quite smooth and does make the characters themselves feel a lot more human. Especially in the other world, where they have a lot more of a more abstract movements and more into them, and even for like the backgrounds, where even in the original world where it's a lot more muted and a bit colorless, while in the other world it has a lot more colors and a lot more of a brilliant feel to it that makes you feel welcomed, as I just said many times before in this review, Elmao. And I'll even say that the action in the third act does feel intimidating and quite threatening to know how Caroline will get out of that situation in order to get herself from freedom. And I'll even say that the use of effects are pretty solid, mostly with a bit of liquids and all that. And I'll even and also just to end things off, on the use of like the character animations, Mr. Bobinski was probably the one that stands out with this movement, since he is a lanky guy, he can have his best moments along with his mouses. Probably the best way I can describe this is that the animation is so good, it's scary. Coraline is an amazing anime film that actually started off a great start for the studio since Pixar's Toy Story, where it has a very terrifying but yet an engaging story, the animation that is very futurized and actually has a great start for Laika's characters that are quite charming and actually do give off a good not give out a good start at first, but get better as the film continues. And of course, like I said, of the tone making this film very terrifying, making one of the creepiest anime films I've ever seen, still makes this film all the worthwhile. And as for those people that are interested in stop motion and horror films, well, mostly like parodies and all that, then this is a definite must watch to get you people into that field. And yeah, it's no surprise that I'm giving this the seal of masterpiece. And I'm actually quite surprised that Aardman has some strong competition against Laika in the stop motion community. How it shows that is that Aardman isn't the only one that can bring out some stop motion masterpieces, a bit like Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of Were Rabbit and even Chicken Run. And I'll even say right now that even if Coraline and the others don't want to go back to the other world again, I'm sure to do this all over again. And that was Coraline. And as for you people wondering about what the film is next, that's for you people to decide. Just go to community page on Kyle's Web Entertainment and choose out the film that you guys like me to review. The options for for Kyle's past reviews are Epic, Finding Nemo, Sonic the Hedgehog, The Lego Movie, and The Transformers the Movie. Thanks for watching, and this is Kyle's Web Entertainment.